And away we go. It's a live gift box unboxing. Joined by Bobahicks here, aka Mark. Thank you very much for this. This is awesome, all the way from Ireland. What part of Ireland are you in?
I'm in Dundalk, just on the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland.
Awesome. And we're going to pop this thing open right here.
Sharp size.
I'm so glad that you were able to join me for this. I've done quite a few of these unboxings, but it's the first time actually having the person who sent it on with me. So this is super cool. You wrapped it and everything. Thank you so much.
Well, you know, you have a birthday coming up, so I'm told. So.
Thank you. I'll see if I can show that off for the camera. That's so cool. I see a bunch of people pouring into the chat there. I just want to take a second to say hi to Micah and Bill Pagan is there. How you doing, brother? Adam Hurt is there. Chris Miwa, hello there.
Hey, Chris.
Prince Trunk, hi there. So yeah, I'm going to be going through this mostly. Should I start with? See, this is what's the coolest part about having you on here with me. Should I start with a letter?
Oh, dude, go ahead. Whatever you like. It's your stuff.
This is so awesome, man. I think the standard line I always say is you shouldn't have, but I'm glad you did.
Looks like it made it through customs okay, not too much damage.
Yeah, there's usually like a giant bionic elbow, but yeah, this is standard right here. There's usually a bit of a thump there, but it looks like it's perfectly intact. Thank you. Sending birthday wishes. That's cool. Have a wonderful day. Happy birthday, Michael. Hope you have a great day from Mark and Christina. Thank you. So just for in case the happy birthdays are going to start pouring in. My birthday's next week, but really
got there early.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank her.
No problem, dude.
And this has some heft to it. So thank you not just for the gifts, but for sending something that heavy. Yes. Cool. So I love these annuals. On a lot of the live streams, I kick them off by reading these awesome annuals. Battle Beasts, annual 1988. I had no idea they even did this for Battle Beasts.
Yeah.
I thought so. Battle Beasts got that treatment too. These are so beautiful. Do you know if these were like a UK?
I think that one was UK exclusive, or at least exclusive to Europe anyway.
Yeah, it says on the front here. I don't know if I can get in that close, but published in address, printed in Italy. I just love the potpourri of all sorts of stuff in here. There's the artwork of all of the individual beasts. Stories, so it's not just comics. There's also kind of those like the stories that the Transformers used to come out with, the storybooks, young adult storybook.
Did they do those hardback annuals over in your side of the world?
I never saw them. I don't believe so. I didn't really go to a comic shop much when I was young. It wasn't until like the 90s I started actually going to a comic shop. Usually I got my comics from the grocery store when my mom was grocery shopping. But I even in the late 80s and then throughout the 90s when the bargain bins, there was never any anything like this, hardcover annuals. So there might be someone in the comments there. Thank you guys. Someone in the comments might know more about when the annuals came out. Kinfit is here. Hey, Michael, good to see you. But I just love them. Thank you so much for getting that annual.
Oh, you're welcome, dude. Hope you enjoy it.
And a couple of comic books here.
Some Trek stuff there for Luana, I should say. Hopefully it made it over.
Classic Trek. Trek has really become quite a bit like Star Wars is now. You know, there's original Star Wars and there's a new Star Wars. Trek, there's original Trek and new Trek. There's one of the classic ads.
Yeah, love it.
So there's some Trek for Luana. And this looks interesting. Transformers Generations.
Yes, have you ever read them?
I've never heard of them. Nice shot of Cybertron on the back there. I'm so not up to date on any modern comics. Unless it's Marvel, I have no idea.
Yeah.
but as soon as I see the word generation, I kind of perk up a little bit because G1, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And G2. I love G2 as well. It's kind of the forgotten line, but
oh, dude, you're looking at a G2 kid right here. Like I was right in the middle of that.
Yeah. They were great quality too. Like they might have changed colors, but a G2 Jazz or Inferno is, to me, the exact same quality level of the G1. And these guys look like G1 character designs. So what's the storyline here?
Yeah, there's like variant issues, I think, thrown in there as well. So I think there's like, the standard cover art, and then I think I had some variant covers. So I just included them. It's funny you mentioned that you're not up on modern comics. I think I probably had them for over 10 years. They're probably not too modern now anymore, but
modern to me, brother.
Yeah.
If it's after the year 2000, it's modern to me. For me, it's pre-2000 and post-2000.
Yeah, I think some of them might even have reprinted old Marvel comic strips. I could be wrong. I might be thinking of different editions, but no, you'll find out.
We've got another Trek here. For not just for Luana, for me too. I love Trek as well. I love the dot printing. Let's see if I can get a shot of it. Not really. Yeah, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Classic Marvel dot printing. They did that Transformers 84 not too long ago. Simon Furman wrote it, and I just love the bringing back the dot style of coloring.
It's awesome.
IDW. That one this one. This one reminds me of that classic Marvel cover of Blaster doing its swan dive.
Yes.
Header into the lava pit. Such beautiful, beautiful covers. Amazing. And this particular one, can never have enough.
Yes, you always need some stickers, some decals.
They come in handy so often with the third-party Transformers.
Yeah.
Because it's funny that they can make a Transformer that looks exactly like a character, transforms into the exact same thing, like Tyrant, or what was his name? Fans Toys, Sovereign. It's Galvatron. Robot and Cannonball. It's Galvatron. But you can't have the symbol on them. So always go into these symbol packs, popping on the Autobot symbol. Another issue of Generations as well. Oh, that's so awesome. One of the comments here, Ray Venkman says that issue with Megatron on the cover is the Marvel issue where Ratchet makes a deal with Megatron to rescue his comrades. Good issue. I remember that one. Prince Trunk says Trek Transformers crossover comic makes it feel like a Saturday morning special, Filmation style drawn. I remember seeing that. That was cool.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Feel free to read any of the comments out loud too, Mark, if you want, while I'm digging in here. Or give me a heads up if someone's being naughty. It's uncanny sometimes. I was just thinking about these guys. I didn't have a single Street Fighter G.I. Joe figure.
O-rings, man.
And now I have two. Oh, yes. I was just looking at them earlier today on the internet and just looking at them and thinking, yeah, I figured out this trick. If you put your hand behind it, then you can get stuff into focus. But sort of. I was looking at the engineering and thinking those are totally G.I. Joes, and maybe even like the next step, kind of like how the swivel arm and the up and down head was the next step from 84 to 85. This was kind of the next step from that with the giant beefy muscular bodies that some of them had. This is a wild looking Guile. That is so cool. It almost work as a good Sarge body too.
Yeah, I was thinking that, especially with the vest and everything. He's a very grumpy looking face.
And then there's Chun-Li. She kind of looks like the same construction as the Ninja Force.
She is. I think the Ninja Force Scarlet is actually a retool of that particular mold.
Okay, so I can get
or possibly the other way around. I'm not sure which came first. I get a bit confused sometimes, but they're definitely a similar mold.
So I can get the scoop from you, hopefully, or someone in the chat. How do you make these things? Like, what do they do, and how do you make them do it?
So they have, some of them can do a kick. Do you remember the? I don't know if you ever had any of the G.I. Joe Ninja Force. They can do like a really basic kind of hand chop. I don't even know if the springs are still working in those guys, but I think Chun-Li does a chop, and Guile might do a kick.
Do you know how they do it?
I can't remember.
Chat, folks in the chat, hit us up. What do you do? I had it. I have the Tiger Force Scarlet and Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. And when I was putting a shelf together, I figured it out how to do it, right? Just playing with it, and then it's gone, right?
I know in my E-Honda, you just literally flick his leg back, and he just does his kick. So I don't know if it's the same with either of them.
Okay. Her arms don't feel like they do anything. I would guess it's her legs because it's she can't do the splits kind of thing that most Joe figures can. Guile might be an arm. He might just be a straight regular figure. He doesn't seem like he has any. Let's see. We've got some intel coming in here. Someone. Guile figures torso is from Road Pig. Oh, okay. So it was an existing. I don't remember Road Pig looking that huge, but I'll take your word for it. That is an enormous chest. Chun-Li came out before Scarlet, so
they used that mold then for the Scarlet Ninja Force, I guess.
Matthew McMillan, how you doing? He says, I remember that the Karate Kid toys did those chopping actions. Those are the Remco ones, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, really cool to have Street Fighter figures.
Yeah, some reinforcements for you.
Thank you. And Guile goes perfect. Like the other guys, some of the other guys don't really fit in with G.I. Joe, but this guy is totally could have been a G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And now will be a G.I. Joe. Another box here. Such nice wrapping paper. Showing off the wrap. Should I do a 360 of the wrapping paper? I can't wrap worth a lick. I apologize to anyone I've ever sent a gift box to. I don't know, man. My whole goal is just so you can't see what it is that you're unwrapping.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some figures in here. Reaction figures. Oh, cool. That's so awesome. Call him Snake. Escape from New York, Snake Plissken. That is fantastic.
Yeah, I was watching one of your you're at like some toy convention or something. You actually picked up that exact figure, but you didn't end up buying them. So I was like, yeah, I thought I got the sense you liked the look of them, you know. So, and I had a spare one lying around.
This one is amazing too. It's Stealth Predator. See-through. Beautiful cards on.
Yeah.
We're total unfinished business. Right down to like, I love the Kenner style logo on the back there for the reaction. That is so awesome. That's actually going to go perfect with something I just picked up.
Good.
I just got the Jack Burton reaction figure.
Oh.
After kind of humming it on and mulling it over for however long it's been out, 2 years, I found a cheap one somewhere and I was like, I got to get Jack Burton of the Pork Chop Express, even though
It's just like with his vest, with the white
it's
vest.
exactly like this. It's a reaction figure, and yeah, just with the white undershirt, gun and stuff. So them together are going to go absolutely perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. I might just pop him on the back wall here for now. Let's see here. It's not really fitting over the thing. I don't want to stretch it out. I'll have to do that later. Oh, that's awesome. I love these translucent figures too.
Yeah, they're cool, man.
So awesome. Thank you. All right, we got one left here. This is so awesome. Where's my exactly plate? Oh, cool. A ride for the Street Fighter boys. Well, boy and girl. The Sonic Boom Tank.
When's the last time you cracked open a vintage Joe vehicle?
It's been this is sealed.
Yeah.
This is, I'm sure like the mint in box aficionados are going to love this. The tape, uninterrupted, uncut tape. Focus, baby. There we go. Look at that. Uncut on both sides. Now decisions. And it comes
well, I think the color scheme would go well with the 80s Joes. That's what I was thinking. You know, I know you're not big on the 90s nice. Vehicles. I just thought, you know, it could get away with it, you know.
It is a nice one. The green with the yellow rockets. It reminds me a lot of the Warthog, Sarge's Warthog. He'd probably look really cool on that. Maybe pop a Sarge head on this body and stick him in here. I don't know.
It's a repaint of the Cobra Paralyzer. Which is kind of that, you know, it's really like neon orange looking Cobra tank.
Right.
I much prefer that Street Fighter color scheme though, personally.
So I guess I have to open it. Doctor's orders. Yes, there is a Jack Burton figure. It's a reaction. It's exactly like this one. It's made by Super 7 Reaction. It's Jack Burton. I never did make the Pork Chop Express. Hopefully someday. What do you think? Should I open it right now or?
Oh, dude, it's your toy. You can open it whenever you want.
All right, let's do it. Which side? Decisions. Let's go this side. And suddenly millions of voices cried out and were suddenly silenced.
Collective gasp.
He opened it. Hey man, it's a birthday present.
Exactly.
Oh, we had one vote for don't open, but it's, you know, there's plenty of other YouTube channels. Scuba Pete dropped in. Where are you, Scuba Pete? I see evidence. Scuba. I see evidence of Scuba Pete in there somewhere. He went under.
I think he's gone under the boat.
There he is. He's in there somewhere. Let's take a look. This is what I love about the new retro line. That, from what I'm told, you got to put the new retro vehicles together, somewhat, as much as you had to back in the day. So, back in the day when we opened these, it wasn't a big deal. You open the box, you tear the box open, throw it in the garbage. You tear the bag open. Now, as adult collectors, you look at this stuff, and what year is this? 1993. So open the box, and if that wasn't hard enough, you got this sealed bag. So I guess I'll ask again, should I open the bag?
Oh, you've come this far.
Oh, that is such an thank you so much for this experience. It has been ages, and it's just awesome. It's so awesome to be able to do this. Chopper open.
Some 90s air is rushing out at you there.
It does smell like the 90s. Still a little fun, but a little grunge on the way. The color is fantastic. You're right. That is spot on. Awesome. I would say if I may be like a classic Jew.
Yes.
Something else here to block the focus here. Here we go. I would say that's like Hal green.
Yeah.
Hal laser, that year one stuff.
Yeah, it's that shade.
The jump jetpack. Just a little more matte. Like that stuff was really glossy, at least the stuff that I've seen the Mobat. And this has a nicer, duller, still a little shiny, but semi-gloss, I guess. Really nice finish to it. They're on the. Should I pull them off the tree? Oh, that's amazing. Oh, this thing is it is awesome. It's perfect condition. Like it doesn't feel creaky, and I'm gonna break it. And we should assemble it right here on the live stream.
15 years ago, I picked that up.
Had it.
Yeah, part of one of the best toy hauls ever.
Wow, and it's got the stickers too. The instructions with the blueprints. Oh, that is so awesome. Yeah, Bill likes the color too. Let's take a moment to read Trask Smith. He looks intelligent. Maybe I should do that too. I'll turn my light off on the side to read his comment. So it looks dramatic. I always open. When I bought my G.I. Joe Whale, I ended up buying a boxed one mail away version in order to find one that was complete with no broken parts. I immediately opened it and put it together. It's fun, man. One of the greatest toy collecting experiences I ever had was opening up the Centurion's. What was that thing again? The swing shot, that super rare swing shot. And that's like the one. I've opened up a bunch of these, forgotten a lot of them, but the swing shot I remember, and I'll remember this too. That's awesome, man. If there's ever any conventions again, I should say when the conventions start up again, and you can find something like this, that won't break the bank, even if man, this looks so much better than I ever imagined. This is an awesome looking vehicle. Do you know where anything goes, or should I just?
Not really. Like I did have one when I was a kid. I do remember that the tracks can like raise up on it and stuff. Look, I'm sure it's not too complicated.
I'm guessing.
That's a swivel turret. I do remember that.
Yeah, I'm. Whenever I'm putting stuff like this in, I'm always thinking, all right, back in the day, this stuff just popped in and out, no problem. But you gotta have a little softer touch these days. Some of the stuff can be brittle, but this stuff feels perfect to me. It doesn't feel at all brittle. So that might be irony. The 90s Joe stuff is like made of better quality stuff, or
who knows?
Or more durable. You never know. We've got the Just gonna, that feels so good. Yeah. Let your hair down, collectors. Forget the X-Acto knife, carefully cutting the things out. Just yank it out. So let's see here. So let's go. It looks like it takes tires. Yeah, there's the wheels. What is it? Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure this out. Does that go there? You got these pegs, which look like they should be for wheels, and then you've got these things, but they don't really plug on. This looks like it plugs somewhere else. So there must be something in between the two. Oh, I get it. Okay, I've seen these before. These little, what's that vehicle? The Avalanche that Adam sent in the gift box had pegs like this, little wheel pegs. These guys right here.
Yes, yeah.
Right? So you get, the really nice thing about that is, I think it was the Avalanche might have been missing one of these, and you can pick them up for cheap on eBay because they go with everything. I think they go with the Raider, they go with this thing. So that just plugs like that into somewhere. Oh, onto there. I think. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to do a video on me putting this together.
You may need to consult the blueprints on that one.
It's gonna take a while. Okay. So one more bag to open. It just the presentation on these classic figures was the best. I'm just gonna tear this one open.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Free him, set him free.
So it's another Guile figure. Oh, he looks fantastic. Very dusty kind of color scheme to him, with the kind of brown orange. There we go.
Still got his grumpy cat face as well.
Yeah. The camo on the pants is so subtle. Let's get focus again. Here we go. Really subtle camo on the pants. It's just like it's caramel type of camo. And the O-ring is perfect.
Perfect, yeah, man.
I'm pulling on his head. It's not snapping. Built to last. So anyone worried about O-rings don't last, man? Yeah, they do. Sometimes you don't get lucky, but if Hasbro were to do the O-rings again, was it Bob who said they'd outlast us?
That's a good thing, though, right?
You got nothing to worry about.
I wasn't planning on throwing them out, so.
Oh, man, that is so awesome. Thank you so much for that. Just moving a figure around, hearing the cracking in his joints in a good way, like the good stiff joints. Oh, this thing is great. I can't wait to put it together. It's got the little handles for his hands. Yeah, beautiful color scheme on it. That's awesome. What a mess I've made. I love it. Got the engine back here. Oh, I'm excited to put that together. And the stickers, I'm not sure. I think someone might have been asking if the stickers were still sticky.
Hopefully.
I think that, yeah, they are. Sometimes they get dried out, but
yeah,
G.I. Joe built to last. With the little Guile flag and Street Fighter pictures. Yeah, they should totally keep reissuing some of those later years, because a lot of Joe fans just checked out 1987 or 89, and then they said it's good enough for us. But they could just totally take those bright colored vehicles, put them in the correct colors.
Well, I was like I was saying, I was right in the thick of a lot of that stuff, the neon colors, the Star Brigade, the Eco Warriors, all that kind of era of Joes, you know. So, like, you know, there was Action Force, older stuff in the house because I had older brothers, but like I was right in the thick of that 90s kind of Joe wave that a lot of people don't like.
I've learned to love it. Thanks in large part to, you know, the channel and chatting with folks and being made aware of a lot of this stuff. Like, I never would have known about 94 Shipwreck if it wasn't for the Art of G.I. Joe books by 3D Joes, and going through those. That's a great way of just deciding which ones you like and which ones you don't, instead of just writing off the whole year. And 94 Shipwreck's one of the best Joes ever made. He just looks amazing. He's like, he should have been Wetsuit, really. That should have been Wetsuit version 2. I don't think they ever, no, sorry, not Wetsuit, Torpedo. Should have been Torpedo version 2. Because it's his color scheme and just extra stuff on it. John has bad memories of the Street Fighter movie. I noticed someone is a Gem fan here. Gem rocks. She's truly outrageous.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have any shame. Looking forward to some more Gem stuff coming out.
Could that Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter movie be counted as a live-action Joe movie, technically?
Yeah, you could. You could. And from now on, I'll be calling this Jean-Claude Van Damme, because that's what I do. Right?
It's an awful film. It's terrible.
Like, I always do that to figures. Like, I've got a Dolph Lundgren figure right here, and Henry Golding figure over here. It's Henry Golding. Used to be a Ray Park figure, but now it's a Henry Golding figure. Thanks, Bill. Congratulations. Awesome gifts they are. So thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate that.
No problem, dude.
Chat with the tribe for a couple minutes here? You gotta
How's everybody doing? Yeah. I actually can't even see the comments. I'm just looking at this in StreamYard, so I only kind of see what you put up on the screen. So
okay.
I hope everybody's doing well out there.
Let's go through some of these then. Now that I'm through, and maybe every once in a while, just to get some blood pumping, I'll pull something off the tree.
Something.
Ah! That'd be funny if someone writes, "That thing's worth 900." Like, oh.
Well, some of them do go for, well, we'll not talk prices here, but you can look them up later.
Let's see what else we got here. Prince Trunk says, on your last Saturday morning live stream, I mentioned Hasbro should put out some G.I. Joe smaller vehicles, as you once said in your G.I. Joe tour reviews, for people on a budget. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. That's what was great about Joe and Transformers and most toy lines. There's something for everyone. It wasn't just exclusively, but I guess the Transformers were mostly geared towards people with dough. I mean, there were some mini bots, but those Autobot cars and everything else in year one were pretty expensive. But the great thing about Joe,
I was just going to say my entry level Transformers for being a kid would have been the combiner size ones. They were always the most like affordable. If you're going to get a toy, chances were it would be like a combiner sized. That was the price range,
Mm-hmm. The thing about the combiners is you can afford the limbs of Superion, but when you got to wait until your birthday or Christmas to get Silverbolt.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't complete a combiner until I was an adult.
I had Superion, and I still don't know how I had Superion. I don't know how I convinced my mom to get 5 of those things.
Yeah.
It was tough to get one of them, and then here I am getting 5 of them. Not all at once, but that was part of the thrill. Getting one every once in a while, and luckily distribution wasn't an issue in my area. I was able to get them all throughout the year, and man, I felt so good when eventually I was able to put them all together. Let's see. Ram Cycle is another one of those smaller vehicles that just Ram Cycle rocks as much as a Mobat to me. Honestly, if I had my choice when I was a kid, I did have the Ram. I didn't have the Mobat, and if someone gave me the Mobat and the Ram and said pick, I'd probably still pick the Ram because that's how cool it was. He says, like the Ram Cycle, Silver Mirage, Cobra Ferret, and of course the Cobra Flight Pods, aka Trouble Bubbles.
Trouble Bubbles.
Thank you very much. Axel Stone hairstyle. Yep. Axel Stone. That's Streets of Rage right there.
I think he can actually stand him on his head. He'd probably hold his balance. It looks flat enough. What do you think?
I'll give it a shot. I love a challenge. Oh, he's
yeah, there you go.
He's actually showing off a little bit.
He's got some moves.
He's bending his knee back on his own, but ooh. It's one thing to just balance him on a flat surface, but try balancing him on something else too. Let's see if I can just have him back here. This should be the rest of the live stream. He's still going. There he is. Nice. Let's see. Getting caught up here. Ray Venkman, hi there. He says, what do you do with Siege Battle Masters who don't have specific target master partners to go to? That's a tough one. Siege Battle Masters, I like those guys, but some of the newer characters, same deal with me. I'm like, where do you go? Who do you stick them with? I wish the Battle Masters were almost exclusively just those 87 and 88 guys, like Hot Rod's gun, Cup's gun.
Yeah.
We still don't have
Jonas Scourge's gun.
Yeah, they still haven't made, or if they did, he came with someone else and he's expensive. The three the original, the new Target Masters in 87. So what was his name? Sure Shot, Point Blank, and Crosshairs.
Yep.
Where are those guys? The red and gray, or was it red and black Target Masters? Release those as Battle Masters. You know, a lot of people have those guys and don't have the guns, so it'd be nice to just give them those. Scuba resurfaced. Glad to hear that. Just crawled out, in fact. And Greg got to assemble his first HISS tank last week. Never had one as a kid. It was so nice.
Cool.
I just love hearing people getting that experience. Saying I never had a HISS tank and getting to do that again. It's a special experience. It really is. And I'm glad that the toy companies are finally appreciating how special that is. Whoever is responsible at Hasbro for doing that has those memories and is a good enough human being that they want other people to experience those memories too.
Yeah,
so that's
I love reissues, man. It's great. It's just great for people to be able to do it, just to get that feeling. Like, it's awesome. I really love them.
There's nothing like the original box, and the fact that they're doing the boxes again original, they could have easily just been doing what they've been doing for 30 years and go, no, we've got focus groups and we've got child psychologists, and we need to have this on the box and that on the box and this furry thing and that kitschy whatever current thing is. And instead what they're doing is, you remember the old one? Redo that.
That's all you need.
Yeah, there's no, we'll tweak it, update it. No, just give them the old box. Trust me, something's in there deep within, locked away, and we want to unlock it. And they're doing it. So, I just went to my Walmart the other day, and I wasn't planning on picking these guys up. They're not within reach, but I saw the retro line at my Walmart, and when I saw them hanging on the pegs there, I just went, yep, I gotta get them. So Roadblock, Snake Eyes, Destro, Scarlet, yeah, all in the cart.
Yeah,
just beautiful. And I thought my plan was, if I already got the anniversary, I don't need the retro. I'm good. But the card art on the retro is better in a lot of the cases. It looks to me like the actual original non-tweaked Hector Garrido art, whereas the anniversary stuff is redone tribute to Hector Garrido. And when I put them side by side, even though I still would prefer if the bubble was shorter, like the original one, which means less accessories. I'm not saying I want less accessories. I'm saying I want a shorter bubble, which unfortunately would require less accessories. But when I put them side by side at home, I went, yeah, the retro art is better, hands down, because it's the original. It just looks better.
That's the thing about seeing something in person as well. Like, it's pretty easy to talk yourself out of things when you're just looking at pictures online. Then all of a sudden you hold it in your hand and it's like,
That's the
maybe I
magic
was
right
too
there.
quick to to make a decision on this.
Yep. Merle says, I forgot it was a big bag of parts in the box. And it's so cool to see that big bag and release it and put it together. And I'm going to be doing a video assembling this. So you don't have to watch me putz around for 2.5 hours trying to figure out and break it. Oh, no. It's live, pal. You know, spin the wheel, break it.
Yeah, we might end up with a coal miner's glove match if we do that.
Oh my God, the one anyone ever remember. Trust me, what a train wreck of a match that was. That Jake Roberts figure from Masters of the Universe Origins.
Oh, it's so cool.
How did it not come with a coal miner's glove? I thought that was a no-brainer. Maybe the second version will. It'll come with a cobra and a coal miner's glove. But what a disaster that match was. And Jake, like, getting the snake to bite him, you know, when he gets hit and he's like, oh no, the snake is biting me. It's just so terrible. And the weird thing is he was never seen again. That was the end of it.
Yeah, one and done. Goodbye, Jake.
Greg says, I remember how Hasbro tried to integrate Street Fighter into Joe's mythology when these came out. So it wasn't a separate line. It says on the box.
It says G.I. Joe.
Which is something I didn't appreciate back then. I do now. The box says G.I. Joe. It's not like a lazy spin-off, almost official bootleg line. It's part of G.I. Joe, which is pretty wild. Oh, there you go. You did a swan dive. I'll have to have you just sitting up there for now. I suppose M. Bison could be a Cobra ally. Shadaloo, the country sponsoring Cobra.
Yeah.
I love the crossover stuff.
I could definitely see Guile standing in front of a Sky Striker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, in his stage in Street Fighter 2, it's like the airfield. I could totally picture that.
I wonder if he would fit in a Sky Striker. There's not much headroom in those things.
That hair.
I'm kind of tempted to try to balance him on this microphone. That's not going to work. That's way too round. George was asking about the stickers, and yeah, they're doing good. Prince Trunk, I wish Sunbow had given us a Transformers G.I. Joe crossover cartoon. Yep. Closest we ever got was Only Human with the old snake.
With not Cobra Commander, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they just don't make terrorists like they used to. Won't be seeing that on a t-shirt anytime soon.
No.
Greg's been doing a massive Sunbow rewatch. Finished G.I. Joe Transformers Gem. Gem is good. Gem's good stuff. It's still Sunbow. Almost all Sunbow to me. I could sit and just watch it start to finish, like an episode of it. And I don't have access to Inhumanoids, so now it's Conan the Adventurer. That's another great one.
Great show. Really good show. Great intro. Great theme music.
Yeah. Spoke with Christy a few years ago, Christy Marks, who was the godmother of Conan the Adventurer, I guess. I like to use that term when I'm talking about people who not just had a part or a big part, but they were the, major heart of the thing. And I've watched quite a few of the Conan ones. I love how they're connected. There's an actual continuity that runs through them. Let's see. Misfits cause more mayhem than Cobra and the Decepticons combined. Misfits were basically Dreadnoks.
Yeah.
Dreadnoks. And their songs were better. I mean, they are the Misfits. Their songs are better. They literally were better. They're more catchy. Like if I've watched a Gem episode with my wife, we're kind of humming the Misfits song when we're done. Michael finally saw the first wave of retro figures. Awesome. That's the anniversary line all over again. You see them on the wall and you go, oh, it's 1982 again, or 83 or 84. Have you seen them in your area yet?
No, and to be honest with you, I don't know if I will. You nearly never see any GI Joe or Masters stuff in the local toy shops around here. I don't know why that is. Maybe Ireland's just not a great market for it. Like if I wanted to get those GI Joe retro figures, I'd probably have to either get them online or travel down to Dublin to get them from like an actual collectible shop. I just doubt I'll come across them in your normal kind of toy shop.
Hopefully, there's online shopping, and online retailers like Big Bad Toy Store they have great deals and things where you can buy the whole wave too. If you want to do the individual hunting, and they give you a deal on if you buy the whole wave. So, luckily, it's not like the old days where you were just out of luck. You'll never get it. The shipping does kind of suck, but it's still.
No, look, if you want it, you can get it. Like, eventually, if you wait long enough, you'll come across these things, I find.
Yeah. I forgot to ask.
You can get it. Like, eventually.
I forgot to ask when we started this thing. Can everyone hear me? It'd be so funny if they're like,
no audio for the last half hour. Yeah,
no audio, Mike. Now you tell me. Very kind of you. I agree.
Cheers, Bill.
Ken Fitz says, great gift box, Mark. And yes, it is Guile. Spawn is asking. Yeah, that's Guile. Let's see.
Do you have a preference for either one of those Guile figures?
Do a comparison right here. I like the green one for looking like perfectly blending in with G.I. Joe. I dig the desert camo. Like, one of the things I wish they had done when they did all those Tiger Force and Night Force, Slaughter's Maraud. Night Force is good, but Slaughter's Marauders and Tiger Force, I wish they had done something more like this. Either the tan version of it or a desert camo. And this guy camo version. So it's close. I'll give the slight edge to the good old green. But that is, as far as repaints go, that is a fantastic, almost neck and neck repaint. And probably easier to balance him since he's
those joints will be a bit stiffer, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Although you got to give him a good surface to balance on. Yeah, there's no issue whatsoever with him. Good suggestion. Yeah. Michael says I couldn't help rearranging the bags. Yeah, it's not just about opening figures. It's about putting them on a wall the way they should be. I do that all the time, or I used to, before it was frowned upon touching everything in stores. But I've taken pictures of stuff at stores where I just got to make that pyramid of Transformers reissues, right? Because that's how they were always displayed when I was a kid. So you put 4 on the bottom, 3, 1 row up, 2, and 1. So yeah, it's fun to rearrange them like that. Bill says his tank box looks amazing. I finally saw one this week, so I got myself a his tank as well with those retro Joes, and $30 Canadian.
That's great. That's great.
Is worth that.
That's the way it should be with toys. Like, that is perfect.
Yeah. Now the figures are $18 Canadian.
Yeah,
the his tank is $30, and it comes with a figure. That's a head scratcher. But as far as the his tank, and I would assume the Ostriker is the same price, $30. It would literally be an empty box with no figure, and I would go, that's worth it.
Yeah. You
get yourself a vintage his tank driver or crankcase for the Ostriker or whatever vehicle they do, and Beggar's Canyon, the place where I got those card backs. I'm looking at all the stuff I'm talking about, and it's just out of reach. I got to grab this one. I'll be back in 1 second. I'm glad I put pants on today.
That's one thing, man. I actually, I missed the start of the last round table we did, and it's only when I rewatched it I realized Bob Hansen was wearing a kilt.
What's that?
The Bob was wearing a kilt during the last round
Oh
table.
yes, he was wearing he's got the Roddy Piper shirt on, and I'm like, oh great, you can go as Hot Rod, and he stands up, he's wearing the kilt, like you are going as Hot Rod. But
Have you? Oh, look at that! Wow.
yeah, so this is a Beggar's Canyon card, front and back, exact repro, attached figures attached to it with the magnetized technique. I should have come up with some kitschy term for this magnetizing recarding thing, but
Magna card.
what's that?
Magna card. Just
Magna
throwing it out.
card. Hey, that'll work. Magna card trademark. Bobahicks. Actually, I like that. It's a magna carded figure. But not to turn this into a commercial for Beggar's Canyon, but they sell the red bubbles that the vehicles had. The driver would have a bubble of his own with a red back. So Beggar's Canyon sells those too, and they're really, really affordable too. It's not like $30 for one of those. It's a few bucks. So like even if the box was empty and no back thing, I would have bought the box for $30, got the little repro red bubble from Beggar's Canyon, and stuck a vintage His Tank driver in it and went, hey, cool, it looks like a mint in box His Tank. Hopefully those prices stay that way.
Oh, definitely. Hopefully.
Can you imagine a USS Flag for $200?
I can imagine, but that's about it.
I can dream. Can you dream? Expression sheet. Probably closer to 500, but still, would you bite? Would you jump on that if it was available? Without,
I think the novelty of it, if the timing was right, and just because I don't have a flag, so who doesn't want a flag? If I could, I would.
I'm spearheading that for everyone. I might have one, but I'm spearheading it as loud as I possibly can. Retro flag, put it out there so everyone can enjoy it, and until they do, I'm gonna keep telling people, watch that Ultimate USS Flag video and enjoy mine until you can get your own. But I want people to have their own.
It's the type of toy modern kids would love anyway. It's just so cool. Like, it's a big aircraft carrier. Like, it's ginormous, especially if you're a kid. Like, it's a ginormous thing to actually sit beside and play with. Like, I think I would blow it. Like, even my nephews, I'd say if I was to somehow like present my nephews with a USS Flag, would blow their minds. And like, they're 9 and 10, and I think it would blow their minds.
Yeah, it blows kids and adults' minds. Like, whoever sees one, wherever it is, everyone just, their jaw drops. If that's not sitting on a gold mine, what is? If they're going to do Unicron and a sail barge and reissue the big Millennium Falcon, put that flag out there and fix it. Fix it too. I don't even know if I would ever get one, but here I am going, put it out there, let people have it and fix it. Make it better than the one I have. Put lights on it. Give it the undercarriage part. Strengthen up some of the weak parts that keep breaking for all of us who have the original one. Gojitron, hello there.
Hey, Goji.
Good to see you. Oh, he was replacing some plumbing.
Handyman.
Working on his Turtles sewer playset, apparently.
Cool.
Let's see. Prince Chunk says scuba. Oh, they're talking about something else that I've missed here. They're talking amongst themselves here because I've fallen too far behind, which I love. I love that I can just butt in on these conversations. George Aitken, hello there. He says Forbidden Planet, do the retro line.
Oh, cool.
That's good to know. Gino says that would be cool if Snake Eyes would be a playable character in a Street Fighter game.
Someday.
Crossover the other way. How
Could
cool
happen.
would that be? And that's, I guess there's all sorts of rights issues that prevented that from happening. But can you imagine if Street Fighter 2 Ultra Super Duper Turbo Ninja Edition had like a secret level or code that you could play Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow in?
Be pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that Hasbro did O-ring Mortal Kombat figures as well. I'm 99% sure they did O-ring Mortal Kombat figures. Somebody watching might know that to be a fact. This could be like my memory playing tricks on me, but I just have a feeling.
It rings a bell.
Like mid-90s, it would have came after that Street Fighter line, I think. And I don't think it had any G.I. Joe connection. They weren't trying to cross-brand. It was just Mortal Kombat. But they were O-ring figures. I'm pretty sure they were O-ring figures.
I recall seeing them. I don't know if they were by Hasbro. I would imagine they wouldn't be at all affiliated with G.I. Joe just because of the violent, connotation of the video game. But yeah, in the chat here, if I can get to them, hit us up. George Aiken says, might send a spare Action Force Stalker figure to complete Michael's Panther. So Stuart sent me a Panther a while back. And I guess some of the folks who watch the videos feel like they have unfinished business after they watch some of the videos. They're like, he's missing his driver. And I never knew anything about that. So, it's news to me who drove it, and it doesn't look incomplete to me, but that's very generous of you, George. Thank you very much. Scuba Pete, super chat. Thank you very much. He says, Mark, what was your favorite 90s Joe vehicles and figures?
Wow. Well, I like this is so weird. Like, 'cause I know everybody's going to be like cringing. Like, I was kind of into Star Brigade and just like Eco Force and all of that stuff. Like, so just to give you a bit of background, I was born in '86. So even though I'm like an '80s kid, I did grow up during the '90s. So I was kind of right in the thick of that from about 1990 to '94 run of that was kind of my Joe stuff. I was also like a big like Leonard's decor guy. I would actually have probably had more of that than Joe's because they were just more affordable. Like I could get 3 core figures for the same price as one Joe figure back in the day. So like if you're a kid going into shop with your folks, I nearly always went for the core, even though like you kind of knew Joe's were better, like in your mind that like they were more, but like I'll take 3 figures over the 1 figure any day of the week as a youngster. But it's hard to hammer down like one specific 90s Joe vehicle. Like I did have that Sonic Boom tank, and I think like I'm a big Street Fighter 2 fan anyway, so I think I didn't have a problem with Street Fighter 2 cross branding with G.I. Joe at all. It was all good to me because that was the only way you were ever going to get Street Fighter 2 figures. Like I can't really think of any other. Like I don't think Street Fighter ever had. Like I know these days you can get Street Fighter 2 figures, like modern, expensive, high-end stuff. But back then, it blew my mind that I could buy these action figures from a video game I love playing. Like it was a big deal. But yeah, I know I there's so many good memories of 90s Joe. I had an Awe Striker that wasn't an Awe Striker because it was blue. I think it was like an Eco Striker or something like that. It was. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. I actually loved it. Like, now when as an adult, I kind of look at it, I was like, but like, back in the day, I loved my little blue Eco Striker.
They, the Collectors Club did an Eco Awe Striker, I believe, not too long ago when they were doing the modern Eco figures. Leonard's Decor, I never had any growing up. I remember seeing them and thinking, like, what is this knockoff Joe's? But they're awesome. I picked up a bag of them not too long ago. Maybe it was long ago. If it was after 2000, it feels like it was recently, but it might have been a year or 2 ago. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the Patreon exclusive video, but I got a big bag of them.
That was some whole.
And it filled up that APC, which is always empty, right? So it's a great way to fill up your APC, Leonard core figures.
And like, I don't know whether it was just coincidence, because I think you mentioned in that video that the guy who had them didn't really have much heed for them. Like he was kind of happy enough to let them go. But even as you were going through that video, like I was looking at the whole lineup you had, and it's like, wow, you got like all like the main guys, like the important guys. I don't know if you even realize like these were like the kind of tough, hard to get guys, and like you got them all pretty much in that one hole.
Yeah, total pure luck. I was just literally looking for bodies to fill up an APC, because the APC is always empty, and I have figures, but I didn't want to stick them all in an APC. I want them all on a nice shelf on display, but I also want the APC to do what it was designed to do, hold a bunch of figures. So dilemma, like, what do I do? I can't really go out and buy a bunch more Joes. They're expensive. So Leonard's Decor, fantastic condition. Usually the ones that I've seen, they're complete or close to complete. And they're super cool. I mean, now when I see Lennar's Decor, I think of GoBots. Like GoBots back in the day, you put, Transformers fans, snub their nose at GoBots, but those were really good, well-made toys. And
Yeah, very
I
good
actually had a
toys.
couple of GoBots, right? I couldn't afford Transformers, but I remember now the choice between a Minibot or a GoBot. Sometimes I went with the GoBot because die-cast. It's a very similar transformation, but basically a GI Joe version of a Transformer is a GoBot.
Yep. It's funny you should mention GoBots as well, because where I got that Sonic Boom tank, it was actually in a toy shop just across the border. It was closing down, and I got that Street Fighter 2 tank and a load of other 90s Joes. This was in like 2005 or 2006 or something like that, but they had a ton of unsold GoBots that I picked up for like next to nothing. Like I think it was like £1 per figure, which is like $1 a figure basically. And I walked out of the shop with like a bag full of GoBots. Like, it's just crazy.
Good deal. Do you have?
Oh, like I still dream about that whole man. Like I visited the shop on 2 days before it was closing down. I got like carded Kenner Ghostbusters, carded Playmates, Turtles, like, and this is loads of stuff was just like, $1, $2. If it was a vehicle, it might have been $5. It was just, I still dream about those days,
Do you have the Courageous Power Suit, Power Warrior, whatever it's called?
No,
Combiner?
I do not. I do not. A lot of the ones I picked up were kind of smaller, like the ones you were mentioning when you were trying to make the decision about whether to get them over the mini-bots, would it be those kind of sized ones. There's some cool stuff. I got there wasn't any Transformers G1 toys in the shop at the time, but there was loads of G1 era random merchandise like Transformers puzzles, bubble bath, Transformers shampoo kits, Transformers kind of like dinner sets and stuff. I got loads of just random Transformers party hats. Yeah, that type of stuff. Like, yeah, great stuff.
Gino has some confirmation here. Hasbro did Mortal Kombat figures, even repainted some Joe vehicles.
Wow.
Piranha repaint that came with. Well, there's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah, there you go.
Hasbro Mortal Kombat, basically Joe compatible. Maybe. Okay, so maybe in your own headcanon, you can say Street Fighter and Joe is compatible. That's the crossover. Mortal Kombat and Lennard is the other crossover. Wouldn't that be wild if Lennard got the Mortal Kombat license, though?
Yeah.
He basically did the same thing.
Reignite that rivalry.
AJ Blake, hello, good brother. He says it's good to have an OCD group that feels compelled to. Hey man, whatever puts a smile on your face. George says, has anybody brought the retro Hiss tank and found the Hiss driver as a Cobra Trooper stand? Game Boy Punk, good to see you. He says, I'm really thinking of purchasing Castle Grayskull and selling it down the road. Really thinking it's going to be worth $500 sealed. The new one?
Must be, I guess.
That new one is another incredible deal.
Yeah, I'm tempted. I'm very tempted.
It feels like a lot of goodwill is going out there. Like, I believe the price was $75 US for Origins Grayskull. Tip of the cap to whoever is pricing those Hiss tanks and that Castle Grayskull. Good on you.
That's great, man. That's brilliant money.
From the very beginning, I've said, let's not make this about money. These things should not be only for rich people.
Yeah.
These things for not rich people, for a lot of not rich people, middle class, even poor people got to enjoy toys. A lot of poor people could get a Joe or two, and that meant so much to them. So, it's cool to have $100 figure, $200 figure, Hot Toys, but it's also cool to have affordable stuff too.
Yep.
Christopher says the Mortal Kombat vehicles were complete Joe reuses. I'm interested to see some of those now.
Yeah, I same here. There could be some nice recolors there that we didn't know about.
George says the retro vehicles have a lot of cosmetic changes to prevent people selling them from the vintage ones. Yeah, they did the same thing with the modern line too. Like they gave the Vamp clear see-through headlights and like a lot of improvements, in my opinion. Removable shovel, whereas the old one was always just molded or sculpted on there. I really hope that yes, Defiant. First the flag. And you know, I say that as a flag owner who probably wouldn't. Who am I kidding? I'll probably get a retro flag. But even though I got a flag, I say do the retro flag first, because that it was going to satisfy a lot more,
Yeah.
scratch a lot more itches, and then a Defiant. Absolutely, yeah, I would jump on a Defiant. Some more intel on the Mortal Kombat figures. I like that we've started this discussion. I'm sitting beside a Street Fighter G.I. Joe vehicle, but we're talking about Mortal Kombat. Did not have G.I. Joe branding on the package like Street Fighter did, so they are not actually Joe's. By the way, Origins figures with some old use. Let's see. GoBots. AJ says GoBots have been called the poor man's Transformers, but I like them.
I'm pretty sure I saw the GoBots cartoon before I saw the Transformers cartoon.
Yeah, I think GoBots beat Transformers to the shelves too. I remember talking about that in one of my history videos. It was one of those things where everyone just had the idea at the same time, and one company got lucky to get out first. And you know, I mean, Transformers are super cool, and if I had to choose between Optimus Prime and Leader One, it's an obvious choice which one I'm going with. But we don't really live in an either-or world anymore. It used to be, well, which one do you want? You want Optimus or do you want Leader One? Do you want an NES or do you want a Master System? But we don't have to do that anymore. Now it's literally collect them all. Like who does the whole PlayStation's better? No, Xbox is better.
Yeah.
No one does that. It's like
I'm a Sega guy, you know.
yeah, just go get one. You know,
Yeah.
like, just go. It's I don't know. Maybe people do that with their phone, right? Galaxy, no.
Oh, yeah. Samsung versus Apple, yeah.
It's maybe the one thing that you are kind of stuck with one brand.
Is it like the repro versus original and all that?
Yeah.
Let's not get into that.
Gaming Toy Boy says, I have a box Psykill, die-cast
Cool.
body, the rest is plastic. I had one as a kid, so I had to have it add it to my toy collection. Now, GoBots, they did a couple of the guys in two sizes, if I'm remembering right. There was a little leader one and a like a super.
Yes. Because they released like a big play set, didn't they, for GoBots? It was like some type of big base or something. And I just remember the smaller scaled figures seem to have been made for it, or they seem to fit well with it compared to some of the larger ones.
Mm-hmm. And that Power Warrior combiner was like suits that little GoBots go in.
Yes.
So the arm was actually a power suit that becomes the arm, and the torso, you could stick a GoBot in the torso. And that was one thing at the toy store, even though I was a Transformers guy, you know, or wanted to be, I'd see that power suit and go, man, that is cool. Why don't they do that in Transformers? Hello, Luggage the Legend. That's a cute profile picture right there. Warriors riding my battle cat until tomorrow when I get my email. That's awesome.
That's a perfect fit right there.
Yeah, I did that in that Warrior video, and it's just such a perfect fit. You know, I could just see a wild tiger looking up and going, "Get this maniac off me!" Adam says there were some great GoBots toys. Wonder if they had been released under the Transformers brand, if there would have been more love and appreciation.
Probably.
And there were the Transformers GoBots. They actually did some G2, right?
G2 had GoBots, yeah.
AJ says, I was literally that one kid who had a Sega Game Gear when all my friends had Game Boys.
I was jealous of you, AJ. I would have loved the Game Gear back in the day. That color screen, wow. Yeah,
that thing was the cat's meow. I mean, it was a dream. No one could afford it. Color, portable game. And then there was the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah.
With the portable TurboGrafx 16. And the mind blower was that, like, the Game Boy and the Game Gear were totally original cartridges, and they were like downscaled versions of the console games. Game Gear said, nuts to that. You just take your game and you play it on the go. So there was no downgrading. It was just the TurboGrafx 16 is portable. And that was mind blowing. Like, how is this possible? Didn't those run on batteries?
Yeah, and they were prone to blowing up from what I heard as well. They could overheat very easily.
Oh my God. To use a UK term, brizzoodle. Can you imagine the battery usage of those? These days, it's like, oh, thank goodness for USB charging ports, and blowing up. Can you imagine? It's like being in the game. Greg says, when I was a kid, I saw Psykill, wondered what happened to Mr. Slate to turn him into Psykill. Mr. Slate? Oh, Hanna-Barbera, right, from who's the voice of Mr. Slate from
yes, yeah.
Flintstones cartoon. George says, my mate worked on NBA Jam for the Game Gear.
Cool.
Christopher Kelly says, your Skyfire Reaction Masters video has me wanting to pick up some of the Transformers line. Yes, we must be cautious. Those are dangerously wonderful. I wasn't expecting, like, it looked awesome. I knew right from first sight, this thing looks cool. But when you open it up and you play around with it, I didn't realize how much I liked Action Masters. That thing is basically an Action Master without the knee bend and the hip.
Yeah.
It looks great. I guess the big thing is it feels fun. It's just awesome. It's a total like 1990 feeling, fun looking toy.
I think they're nice because, you know, they look great on the card, but you can take them off the card as well. They're definitely the type of thing you'd buy doubles of. I think a lot of those reaction Transformers. I'd love to get a few of the guys standing in front of like Metroplex or some of the bigger G1 bots to just be perfectly scaled for it.
It is a tough call whether to open it or not. Like, even after I opened it, sometimes when I open it, I go, yeah, obviously, like opening this tank right here, no regrets. I can't wait to put it together. It looks awesome. But opening Skyfire, he's cool, and I don't really regret it, but I'm like, oh, but it looked cool on card too.
Yeah.
So you win either way, I think. Adam says they made the command center for the smaller GoBots. It looked very similar to an AT-AT. Oh, right. Yeah. The kind of walker looking thing. AT-AT or AT-AT. Now everyone's happy. Gojitron says GoBot Guardians and Renegades both had a base vehicle, but they were not very interesting toys. Kind of reminded me of the Wheeled Warriors. They had a similar looking walker thing that you could park Wheeled Warriors on.
Did you have any Rock Lords?
No, didn't get in any of that. I was confused by it, like, because the GoBot Rock Lords came out around the same time as the He-Man Rock dudes. They had the two He-Man rock guys who could collapse into rocks, and I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, why is everything turning into rock? Rocks are boring.
Didn't you always want to rock as a kid?
Yeah. Like, I got rocks. I want figures. I have tons of rocks. So I was expecting G.I. Joe to do the rock thing. And was there a Transformers rock? I can't remember if there was, I don't know. Some of them were bricks. Might not have been rocks, but they were bricks. Rodimus Prime. Always wanted TurboGrafx 16. So heads up for anyone who wants to play some of those retro games. And they are still super fun. You know, the thing is, like, the old toys still hold up. And it's not like, you know, they kind of hold up. They're awesome. And in a lot of cases, better than the stuff out there today. The old games hold up, and in a lot of cases are better than the stuff out there today. We had some friends over with little kids, and they don't get much screen time. You know, the parents are raising them right, not letting them play Call of Duty and all that, you know, crazy stuff. But I asked if they could play a little bit of classic games, you know, nothing violent. And these are really small kids, but I put on stuff like Super Mario Kart for them. And the one is a huge Star Wars fan, and he wanted to play Star Wars. So I put Super Star Wars on for him. You know, you blast something and it flies off the screen. It's not like it bursts into a mist cloud of blood. And they just had a blast. And the mom told us later, oh, they just had so much fun playing those old style games, just with the fun music and the fun colors and no tension, really.
Yeah.
So for anyone who loves those old games, they're at your fingertips, literally. I mean, emulation has never been easier. You don't have to be a hacker or a computer expert. There's emulators for both PC and Mac. If you're a Mac user, it's never been easier. There's this thing called OpenEmu or OpenEmu program, and it's just an install it, drag and drop the cartridges in, and you don't even have to be like a hardcore pirate guy. The stuff is all over the internet. The cartridge,
Yeah.
the games, the ROMs, they're called ROMs, on tons of websites. Apparently, they're not being sold anymore. Haven't for a long time, and aren't available in any method anywhere. It's not like Games on the Go where they take old computer games and sell them again. Snake's Revenge for NES isn't anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like this.
It's probably not
arcade.
even copyrighted by anybody, is it? It's probably not. Nobody probably even has a license for it anymore.
I wonder if it's, I don't know if it's public domain or what, but that stuff is just sitting there. And it's minuscule in terms of
Yeah.
size. It's not like
Tiny
it's
little
huge.
files.
So you grab Burger Time and whatever, and there you go. You're playing on your emulator. All you need is you can even use your PS3 controller. This is the craziest thing. The PS3 controller works with my Mac.
Yeah.
The wireless. So you don't even need an actual controller. But the great thing also, if you want to go really deep dive into the classic gaming, you can get classic looking controllers that are USB controllers. So I've got the NES controller and a Super Nintendo controller that just plug in by USB. And it makes a huge difference, like just using the actual old controller instead of like the PlayStation with the triggers and the double,
Yeah.
things in the 8 buttons or 12 buttons. Using like the old Nintendo with the 2 buttons, that takes you right back. Simplifies things.
Yeah, at the moment I'm using like it's a modded Sega Genesis Mini. I think it was released about 2 years ago, but a HDMI connection. But it still works with your old cartridges. Like you can play. It comes with about 50 games built onto it, and then you can still put your old cartridges in as well. Wireless Sega controllers. You can add more games on. Just download the ROMs, like you're saying, put them on a little memory stick, and plug it in and play away. It's a great little thing. So it is.
I forgot about those. That's an even better option. You can just get those all in one. Get the nice little. Is it a miniaturized version of the old?
Yeah. Just a
That's
scaled down version. It's still big enough to fit your cartridges, so your cartridges will still play if you still have any. And
really.
yeah,
I didn't know that. I've got a couple of old Genesis and Nintendo cartridges kicking around. And that's especially nice for people who want the actual physical thing. Like, don't give me a digital comic. I want the real comic.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. So the emulation, that's the drawback. It's not real. It's floating around somewhere on a hard drive. But to actually have a little console, that's even better. Sage Rider, hello there. It says, my boy asked for a watch. I bought him a GoBot watch. Awesome.
Cool.
Great choice. You ever seen the Takara watch? Remember that one? It wasn't an actual transformer, but it was the legs open up. I had one of those as a kid. So cool.
It's funny you should mention that. Somebody must have like uncovered a whole warehouse of them recently because they are all over eBay at the moment. Those Takara watches. I don't know. Like, did someone find like something in the back of a truck or something? I noticed I was on a couple of weeks ago and a few of the UK sellers I follow just seem to have like multiples of them for sale.
People might be looking now that big stock in Chile was found. Is it Chile of the mask toys?
Yeah.
So people might be going through the old warehouse going, I think I have something from the 80s. I looked a while ago, a couple of years ago, for that watch. Not that I was really wanting another one, but I was curious, and it was expensive. So if a whole bunch have popped up, perfect condition, and they're flooding the market, then this might be the perfect time to grab it.
Yeah. Well, look, if it drives the price down, that can only be a good thing for us.
Mm-hmm. AJ says the problem was not as much game selection as Game Boy. It went obsolete quicker, as I remember. Luckily, no explosions. And then the Game Boy Advance with the color came out. Those are awesome games.
Brilliant, yeah.
Especially fun on emulators. If you never got a chance to play them back then, those Game Boy Advance games really hold up. Really, really fun. Basically like NES, or maybe somewhere in between an NES and a Super Nintendo. Really, really fun. Question for you, Mark, from Chris. What TV station did you watch for your Saturday morning cartoons in Ireland?
Right, so I watched a couple. So for the actual terrestrial Irish TV stations, I would have watched RTE2 or Network 2 as it was called back then. So, you would have been talking about Transformers, Ninja Turtles, Brave Star, He-Man, yeah, all the good stuff. And no G.I. Joe. I actually didn't discover the G.I. Joe cartoon until I was like about 10, and I found it by accident because my dad had rented a tape with other cartoons on it, and then the GI Joe cartoon was like there was a GI Joe cartoon, and all these voices of guys that sound like just like Transformers. I was like, where did this come from? Like I just never even knew it existed. It blew my mind at the time. But yeah, Network 2 back in the day, and also the BBC used to show a lot of great cartoons on Saturday mornings as well, especially later on, moving into the 90s. We had all the Disney cartoons. You had X-Men animated series, Spider-Man animated series, Batman the animated series, some great stuff. But yeah, look, Saturday morning cartoons, sitting there, breakfast cereal, still in pajamas, watching TV. Great, best times ever.
We talk about the best toys came out in the 80s, but man, 90s were awesome for cartoons. There might not have been such awesome toys to go along with them, but the 90s they just kept on rolling with the great cartoons.
Yeah.
I think. Action Force. Did you have much any exposure
I had a decent
to Action
amount.
Force?
I had a lot, yeah, because I had older brothers. So, like even those Action Force annuals, I would have sent you. Like all that stuff was in the house before I was even born. They were just kind of sitting around, and it's kind of weird just because of where I'm from, because I'm right on the border between North and South. Like I could go into toy shops, see figures branded as Action Force, and then like go into a toy shop, 10 miles up the road and see the exact same figures again, just with GI Joe branding. And I never really understood why the same figures were being sold under two different names depending on what part of the country. And then like the advertisements were weird as well. It was like Action Force, like international heroes, and then you go and it would be like GI Joe, the real American hero. It's like, well, what is it? Like is it both of them? And then there was kind of further confusion on my part because I was also reading the UK Transformers comics, which had like Action Force as kind of like a sub comic within that comic. They weren't really the main event. They were just like the kind of mid card attraction. So they were always kind of, I'm kind of ashamed to say it now as an adult, but as a child, Action Force was kind of just like it's just that those army guys that are in the Transformers comics, they're not really a big deal to me. Now I look back as an adult, it's like, wow, Action Force was brilliant. It's like, British GI Joe or whatever. It's cool, but I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have during the, back in the day.
It was kind of like your Leonard's the core.
Yeah.
Mike, how you doing? He says, I just looked up the Street Fighter 2 Joe vehicles. Pretty cool repaints overall. I think you'll dig them. Thank you very much, Mike. Super Ollie Tendo Gaming says, my dad bought me a Castle Grayskull. Now I truly have the power.
Cool.
And Gino says, after G.I. Joe was canceled, my friend and I found the core on store. So I got 2 core for the nostalgic. And my friend chose a bearded core just because he looked like Fidel Castro.
I know the exact guy he's talking about.
Yeah. What was his name?
Large Sarge is his name.
Large Sarge. The pet rock. Fill me in on what a pet rock. I've heard this term so many times. Was it an actual thing they sold?
Maybe.
Pet rock?
Well, so like those rock lords, man. The funny thing about them is like they changed into the most unconvincing rocks ever. Like, it's like these perfect cubes or rectangular.
Right. Yeah, the He-Man ones were a little better.
Yeah.
And they looked more like meteors because they had a
Yes.
little metallic, I think, and the pock marking of a meteor. But those GoBots were. Adam says, speaking of Rock Lords, Masters of the Universe had Rock On and Stondar. I wonder which inspired the other. Yeah. George has some retro game chat here. My mate still has Game Gears, Game Boys, Amigas, Atari. I'm so glad I kept all my classic systems too. And I remember I was very close to just trash, right? What you don't use anymore, you throw in the garbage. And a lot of stuff got given away, but for some reason I was like, don't throw this away. Even though the PlayStation was a great new system, and then get the PlayStation 2. I'm like, what do I need an NES for? I'll never play this again. But the memories, right? Good times. Stick it in a drawer.
Yeah.
Thank goodness
Keep it
I did.
safe.
It's awesome to still have my old Genesis. Can't play them anymore. Don't have the cables or anything, but just love to have the actual casing of my original game systems. Still have my Atari 2600 as well with the wood paneling on it.
Wow, that's class.
Do you have any of your
I still
retro
have my
systems?
old Mega Drive and PlayStation. Now, Mega Drive, by the way, that's what we call the Genesis over here. Like yourself, I do have the cables, but I don't think I have a TV old enough that the
Right.
cables will even, like, I'd have to tune it in through like a TV aerial or something to get the Genesis working. I don't even know if my smart TV would know what it was. Like, I don't even know if it has a slot that I could fit
Because you
something.
had to do the unscrewing of the screws on the back of the TV with the two
Yeah.
things. It's yeah,
Oh
that
man, yeah. No, that's one good thing about that Genesis Mini I got with the HDMI connection. Because if you still just have all your old cartridges, at least you don't have to do any finagling, with messing about with cables and stuff like that.
mhm. Landon, hello there. He says, I love opening boxes. It's fun. I like being on your live stream. Welcome. Glad to have you on here. Emulator. Gino says, speaking of emulators, my life was a bit more happy when I was able to play G.I. Joe arcade game on my PC. Never played that one. That's the first person shooter, I think.
Never played it myself, but yeah, I think it's a first-person shooter.
You played the new one, the new Joe game?
I did not. I'm pretty behind on my video games at the moment, I have to say. I'm still playing an Xbox 360, so.
Yeah. If I live that long, I'll play it in 30 years.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, this is really cool. Technobobber says, what do you guys think about the speedrunner world record holders for NES, SNES, and 64? Speedrunner world record holders. Was that a game?
I think it's like if I'm thinking, if I know what he's talking about, it's those guys like, say, you could complete Mario in like the fastest
Oh,
possible time. You'd set like a world record for
yeah.
finishing it.
Like the Steve Weebies and Billy Mitchells of the world.
Yes, yeah.
They're
Fair
amazing.
play. Fair
Yeah,
play to them.
they're incredible. They really are. It's amazing to watch them do that stuff. And for anyone who hasn't seen The King of Kong, check that movie out. Have you ever seen it?
No.
So there's a documentary called The King of Kong. It's pretty old now. It's new to me because it came out after 2000. But it's about a guy who's trying to break the world record for Donkey Kong. And he's an absolute sweetheart of a guy named Steve Weeby. And it's totally Star Wars. It's this young, hopeful, wide-eyed rebel going up against the evil empire. So the world record is held by a guy named Billy Mitchell, who, I'm sure in real life he maybe he's different. In the movie, they make him out to be the biggest villain, just really full of himself, and he's got long straight hair and a beard, and he wears a suit with like these American flag ties, and he has like I think it's like a barbecue sauce business, and he's the world record holder for a bunch of video games. And the website organization that keeps all the records for world video game records, they're all really tight with each other. They're all buddies. So when Steve Weeby sends in this tape of him beating the record, they're all like, it can't be real. And you start to smell a rat. Like, what's going on here? Is this a legit record holding organization, or are these guys all buddies and they don't want anyone new coming in? So it's all about Steve. Like, they don't believe the tape, so he's going to try to beat it in person at one of the conventions they do. And he's just such a pure-hearted dude. He's Luke Skywalker going up against, I'm trying to think of a movie villain that's kind of like, Billy Mitchell, but really an amazing documentary that feels more like an actual fiction movie than a documentary. So for any vintage gamer, like, I highly recommend The King of Kong. It's just an awesome, awesome movie.
No, I'll have to check it out, definitely.
Steve Weeby is one of the greatest movie heroes ever, and Billy Mitchell is one of the greatest movie villains ever. So it's totally Optimus versus Megatron, Duke versus Cobra Commander. Yeah, I love it. Prince Chunk says, biggest G.I. Joe vehicle, I wish I still had it, was the Thunderclap. Remember that one? The segments that all connected together. For big vehicle for Joe, I love the Rolling Thunder.
Oh, that's awesome looking vehicle, man.
Just
it's cool. And the mobile command center as well. It's like these two titans.
Yeah, the thing that's technically a vehicle.
Yeah, it rules.
Don't push it too hard, and don't push it over anything other than hardwood floor. But it's amazing. I never had a Rolling Thunder until a couple of years ago, and that thing kind of has the flag effect on me. I just look at it and I shake my head and I go, no way, just no way. How? Why? This thing is ridiculous. And then you open it up and the giant nukes come up. I'm like, oh man, the war is over. You know, like anytime Cobra tries to pull anything, all they got to do is through satellite footage of the Rolling Thunder opening up, and then Cobra Commander's like, retreat.
Yeah. Are those missiles inside of missiles? You know?
Yeah. And guess what? Those open up and there's more missiles inside.
Yeah. Overkill.
Overkill is underrated, my friend. Greg says, is there anything the G.I. Joe cartoon did that you prefer to the Marvel comic? For me, one would be making Shipwreck such a beloved character. That's a good question. And that is a good point right there. Shipwreck is proof, to me, that the cartoon did a lot of stuff right as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always say that when I read the comic, I hear the cartoon actors' voices. That's a big contribution.
I was the same with the Transformers comics. I always had those voices in my mind when I was reading those UK Transformer comics.
Mm-hmm. Ray Venkman says, I got a Genesis Mega Drive. I was surprised to hear the Mega Drive was called that in Ireland, because I knew in Japan that's what it was called. But I would have guessed that it was called Genesis over, since we both speak English, right?
Yeah, it was Mega Drive. And there was weird thing was there was no compatibility issues with like Genesis games still ran on a Mega Drive. Like a lot of the games I owned actually had a Sega Genesis label on them instead of Mega Drive, but they ran fine, they worked. So cross compatibility, which was nice back in the day, not like all these region codes and stuff we have to deal with these days.
Mm-hmm. Michael's heading out, or he may have head out a few minutes ago, but glad he could join. And I think we'll be wrapping up here as well. So an hour and a half into this has been awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me, dude. It was an honor.
I'm glad that I had you here to walk me through some of this stuff. This is an awesome idea. Balancing. How many people with Guile are going to do that now? Your Guile figure.
Probably the only Joe I'd imagine you could do it with. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
And I always do this whenever I say I'm signing off. I grab a couple more because I don't like to just say, okay, bye. It's like you're a wrestling fan, right? Did you ever watch the 1988 WCW? 1988 NWA WCW show where Sting was just starting to, come into his own. So he would do these promos and he'd be yelling and screaming, Ric Flair, I'm going to take your belt. Bye. And then he just, like, that was his sign off, like Luger and bye, and they just walk out. So I don't want to 1988 Sting it and just say see ya and sign off. But grab a few more of these. Greg says Larry Hama said in his mind Cobra Commander sounded like Orson Welles. That's a long shot.
Yeah.
But he's so weaselly in the comic.
Weaselly and cowardly, and I wouldn't have thought Orson Welles myself.
Maybe that's how he was able to assemble the army that he did, and the big commanding voice.
Commanding voice.
I told you to take care of them, not kill them. The Cobra More, my dad helped me build one on Christmas.
Cool.
It's another great memory. Not just getting the toy, but putting it together with your parents back in the day. So I'm so glad that they've brought this aspect of it back instead of kids don't want to waste their time and get frustrated. It's so cool to be able to. I haven't done this in a while. Oh, that's on there. Nicely.
Getting shivers here.
Yeah. Those came off.
There's somebody watching now. This is pure torture for like.
probably can just twist them off sometime. You get the option of twisting them off, or you can just pop them off. It's like bones breaking for some people. No. I'm surprised at how clean these are coming off. There's no little extra thing that you got to cut off there. That's perfect. Pop one of these wheels off as well. Let's see here. Yeah, that's awesome. They don't make sprues like that anymore. That's for sure. All right, back to you. JLS Comics, welcome. Just in time for us to sign off. Glad you could join us. Let's see. Ray, we'll give Ray the final comment here. Cobra frozen peas full of snake, charming blue penis. Wait, that's awful. I quit. That's awesome. All right, so this has been an awesome unboxing. Thank you so much, Mark.
No, you're more than welcome, and I hope you enjoy all the stuff. And happy birthday in a week's time. I'm sure I'll be chatting with you before then. Hope it's a good one. I'm sure you'll get lots more nice surprises.
Oh, you guys are all so generous. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to doing a video on this one, putting it all together and showcasing it, giving it the spin around, and just to close off. I wonder if can he balance in his seat here? I don't know if I can, because the seat is kind of puffy. It's not soft, but it's got the puffy sculpting in it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to end this on a cliffhanger. See if I'll be not able to do it on the live stream. So we'll see if I can do it in the review, because it's not happening right now.
Give it time.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us in the chat. Chris, good to see you. Micah, everyone else, Adam, thanks so much for joining us. We saw Scuba Pete. He's gone under probably for now. But thanks everyone for joining. And once again, thank you, Mark. And we'll catch you down the road. Until next time.
Never stay good, brother. See you around.